Weep, Grana, Weep, Niddy Bong, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at Gears Tactics. So quite recently I made the leap from the PlayStation platform that I've been playing on probably for I want to say the last 10 years or so, definitely since the start of the PlayStation 4 period, and I made the jump over to the Xbox platform with the Xbox Series X.
Join the party.
Now when I jumped on there, one of the main reasons that I actually wanted to jump on the platform, number one, was to try out Game Pass, because it is the best streaming service available. It's absolutely fantastic and it's changed the way that I play gaming. But the main reason that I actually wanted to go over to Game Pass and over to Xbox and to check a look at something was because I wanted to check out Gears Tactics, because turn-based strategy, that's my bag.
Now my war begins.
So today I'm going to be telling you my thoughts about Gears Tactics, checking a look at it, and talking about the good, the bad, and unfortunately, the boring.
Forgive us, this is the only way.
So Gears Tactics is an Xbox exclusive, like I said, is one of the reasons that I jumped over to the platform itself. The developers are a coalition, or a collaboration between the coalition, who are the people who usually create the Gears of War games and Splash Damage. So this is their first kind of venture into the world of turn-based strategy on the Gears platform. Gears of War usually is a cover-based shooter. I played number 1, a little bit of number 2, and then I didn't really play anymore. Cover-based shooters aren't really my thing, but it's an interesting world, so I thought I'd just dip my toe in, because also this is set before any of the other games as well, so it's a complete prequel to the other games, so it's a fresh story that'll be picked up right from the beginning. So first of all, let's talk about the good stuff about this. First of all, it's a turn-based strategy game. My favorite genre of gaming, absolutely love it. This is great. From that point of view, it's a good turn-based strategy. It's not like Transformers Battlegrounds. Transformers Battlegrounds is a terrible turn-based strategy game. This is good. This is good. It does some interesting stuff, and when I come to the gameplay, I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. But it's good. Graphically, it is very, very impressive. It's on the Series X, so it looks awesome. Plenty of gore to go around as well. They do these close combat kills, and we'll talk about that later on when I come to the gameplay. But yeah, the gore level in this and the way that they use that is very interesting, and it's pretty good. Voice acting in this is very good. You have, I would say, you have 4 main characters essentially, but the story really focuses certainly at the beginning around Gabe and Sid, who are the 2 main characters. Later on they do introduce some other people, but yeah, pretty much 4 main characters in it, and along with the story, I don't want to give too much away, but it's basically the beginning of everything. So it's when the Locust Horde first started appearing on the planet, and all of the background before that, and you find a little bit of backstory about how they were created and stuff like this. So it's an interesting story, great graphics, plenty of gore to go around. Something else pretty good here is the customization. The customization in this game is seriously next level. I absolutely love the amount that you can change everything from the looks, the hats, the beards, the faces, give them eye patches, give them lots of different scars, but also right down to the minuscule fine details of it. You can change the different types of metal that you give them that then will change the pattern that you put on top of that. It's multi-layered and really cool, because there is no way you'll ever need to make 2 characters that look the same, and this is fantastic. But when I get onto the bad side of it, this does have a bit of an impact on something when I get to the bad side of it as well. So I didn't actually end up using this as much as I thought I was going to, because of something that I'll cover later on when I'm talking about the bad elements. Gameplay is good. they do a couple of very interesting things. Obviously, turn-based strategy is you go, then my go. Your go, then my go. Everybody gets kind of action points, and then we move, we shoot, we use our different skills depending on who we are. And within this, there are different classes of people that do different things. First of all, you have the support class. The support class does exactly what it says on the tin. The support class supports. It's going to give people different powers, different added action points, and also sort out some of their health issues when they have it as well. We also have the Vanguard Clash. The Vanguard class are the people who are going to power forward, stab the opponents, raise them up, and also shoot and shoot and shoot until the war is done. You then also have the Heavy class. The Heavy class are absolutely devastating in this game. They are incredible when it comes to just decimating that field over and over again. You stick them on Overwatch and they will just annihilate everything within front of them. You also then get the Scout class, who are pretty much what they say on the tin. They're the people who are going to be up front doing those secret missions for you. They get a little cloak so that they can hide as well, and as you go up the class, some of them get a free cloak as well so that they can cloak and still get their 3 action points. So that's pretty good. With the version I played, you also get Jack. Jack is like an added person who's almost like another support class who can give somebody a shield or put a barrier up or give your team a kind of a free. I actually found this dude to be one of the most useful players within the game because he is like an extra player when it comes to any of the missions. Some of the missions that you have in this, they modify the missions to make them slightly more interesting, where they'll say you can only put 1 person or 2 people on the battleground, and if you're only putting 2 people on the battleground, then it'll also let you put Jack on there as well as a little bit of an add-on. So with all of the different classes that we have here, it does keep it quite interesting. The only issue I have with this was there was more classes than you could use on the battlefield, and I'll cover this a little bit more when I get into the bad side of it, because your squad size is 4, and it's 4, it never grows to 4. Sometimes it shrinks, but you never get more than 4. Now, one of the things I really like about XCOM is that your squad size grows as you go through the game. You feel like you're growing. In this game, I didn't really feel like my team was always growing. The gameplay though itself is pretty good once you get into the mission, and like I say, one of the cool things and the way that they use these kind of ultimate gory kills that they use in there is that if you can down an opponent and then you move forward to kill that downed opponent, the person who has killed it doesn't get an additional action point, but the rest of your team gets an additional action point. Now this really does make it quite interesting, because you might put one of your people in danger, but it means that the rest of the squad will benefit from that. So it really is, what are you willing to sacrifice to actually give your team those extra action points, and forces you to play a little bit differently. Not very safe sometimes, not always putting your people in Overwatch mode and letting people come to you, but also getting them right out in the battlefield, sometimes right out in the open, and hoping that they can survive. And again, this is where Jack comes in quite helpful, because you can go and kill someone, then put a shield over them. So it does work really well, and I've not seen that done in too many turn-based strategy games. So yeah, I liked that element. So all in all, story, gameplay, graphics, customization, all pretty good. Maybe 1 or 2 different innovations, but nothing really setting the world on fire. Now we move into the bad. And the bad, unfortunately for me, is quite a sticking point, because it really does hurt some of the things that are good about this game. I've already spoke about the fact that your squad size never increases. It decreases in certain missions, but it never increases. And when I look at the likes of XCOM, like I say, I really do like the way that you feel like you're growing, the size is growing, and also your weapons are growing. This is a real challenge within this game, because your weapon upgrades are all held behind a kind of a loot box system, but it's not a loot box system, but it feels very much like a loot box system. It feels like if they could have got away with it they'd have just slammed some microtransactions in there, or they thought about it and then backed off. It's not good. In XCOM and other games like that, you do research and there's stuff going on in between missions. That doesn't happen here. There is literally a couple of things you can do between missions, and one of them is opening these loot boxes, which makes everything feel very random. And okay, they get really good skill trees, each of the actual players and each of the characters within the game. They get awesome skill trees where you can give them different skills, but the weapons, they keep pretty much the same weapon all the time. You modify it by putting different mods on the weapon, so they get a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger. But I really would have liked to be able to research what I wanted and not have to hope for what comes out of a loot box. Staying with the kind of skill trees as well, each character in this game does level up. They level up, and that's great. But they level up so slowly. They level up really slowly in this game, and under normal circumstances I wouldn't really be bothered by the fact that they're leveling up really slowly. That's okay, that's cool, but the problem is that they level up so slowly that what you find yourself doing is actually using this swap out function, so you can recruit new troops rather than waiting to level them up. So there's like a list of people coming in, and they're always at higher level than the troops that you have. Something I love, and I keep going back to XCOM because it is my favorite game of all time. Something I love about XCOM is I will nurture those troops. I have a no one gets left behind policy pretty much when it comes to XCOM, if possible, and all games with permadeath. And I really love it when I'm having to make a decision and replay a map and replay different things because I don't want that character to die. That character's called Vector. I don't want that dude to die. And here, I just found myself not really caring about anything outside of the four main characters, because I'm like, well, you're just going to get swapped out because you're not leveling up quick enough, and I've got a sniper over there that's already level 6. You're at level 3 or level 4 or level 5, and I can just swap you out, no penalty to me. So again, this is where that customization piece, I just ended up throwing it away and only really focusing on the four main characters, because I know at any point I'm just going to swap them out. Don't get attached. And I actually really like getting attached to the soldiers within my team, because permadeath should mean something in a game like this. And speaking of permadeath, yeah, this game does have permadeath, but it has this down system for your characters as well, which is great, but it really does take the sting out of some of those vital moves that you make when you're down to health, because you think, well, actually, I know that I can just revive this dude. I think you get like 2 or 3 different revives that you can do each mission on each player. So permadeath is there, but 100% none of my characters died or even came close to dying during my playthrough of this, so that kind of level of tension was taken out as well. So that's kind of what I thought was a bit bad about the game. But now to move on to what was just boring. One of the main things I found that was actually boring about the game was the bit in between the missions. There was nothing to do apart from swap your characters around and open loot boxes. That was it. Now, in a lot of games like this, where's that research? Where's that base building element that you could have done in between there that would have really, really hyped up this game and got me excited for it? Like I say, I did nothing but swap out those characters that I didn't want anymore or were lagging behind with the slow leveling up system, and then move over and open some loot boxes, switch around my gear to make sure I've got the best gear, and that's it. Go to the next mission. It was good, it made it snappy, but again, I think I just really liked that research element. It just seemed to be really missing that, and that could have really put this game over to the next level for me, giving me that interesting bit in between, because that's something I absolutely adore in games like this. And then finally, the final boring piece that I had is the end level boss. The end game boss, the big bad of the game. I'm not going to spoil it too much for you, but he's cheap. He is cheap. Anyone that's played this game, let me know down in the comments what you think about this dude. But for me, he's just cheap. He's not a difficult boss to beat, but he is a cheap boss to beat. And anybody, in the end, I was literally just bored of fighting that boss. And I hate it when you've grinded through this game, you've got to the very end, the pinnacle, what should be the height of everything that's going on, and you're battling, and you're just bored. And during that battle, I was bored.
Cakes, listen up!
Overall then, what do I think of this game? I think it's good. I think, and literally that's it. I wanted it to be awesome, I wanted it to be excellent, but it's good. It's a good turn-based strategy game, and I would especially kind of suggest this to somebody who is new to the genre as well. So I think it's like an entry-level turn-based strategy, whereas something like Phoenix Point is probably a higher level one. This is definitely an entry level. Is it Transformers Battlegrounds?
This is bad comedy.
Hell no, it's not as bad as Transformers Battlegrounds. Transformers Battlegrounds is the worst. It's the worst. This is good. This is good. There are boring elements. I really hope they do make a sequel and add on some different stuff here. Overall, I think that's it. I think it's just okay. Not bad. Average. Could do better. Let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. Have you played this game? I know it's over 12 months old, but I've just played it, so I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. Let me know if you've played this one, and I'll see you in my next video. Alright guys, in a bit. Peace!